I would like to understand more what you were able to do in your company and how you have been able to automate your processes. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, I'll take you on a little journey, I suppose, for the last maybe 4 or 5 years ago where we've started. And we are on the very beginning of the journey, I think, in Babcock in terms of automation. But we started working with a SAP partner called Bluestonex about 5 years ago. We use an application of Bluestonex is called Maestro. It's a master data maintenance tool that sits within SAP. And we implemented that for material master data very successfully. We then decided it would be a really good idea to move to use the Maestro tool again, but to use it on our supplier data instead. So we re-engaged with Bluestonex and asked them for their help, because our processes in that particular space were using things like SharePoint and emails and tickets, and weren't very well governed, weren't very well controlled, and to be honest, quite difficult and labor intensive sometimes. So we engaged with Bluestonex, and that's when they suggested we could do more than just what we were doing today, that we could use the SAP Business Technology Platform to kind of go beyond, make a step change into a kind of a new world we've not been used to. So Bluestonex have developed a portal, a supplier portal for us based upon BTP, SAP BTP. And we've embedded that portal within the design of the vendor Maestro process that we've got running, or we're developing right now. And we are in development with it right now. We're not completed just yet. But the beauty of this portal we now have in development is the fact that we can use that to get suppliers to put their own information about themselves into our system, so they can put their contact details and their addresses into their records on our behalf. We're using things like APIs now to punch out and validate some of the data, like banking data or tax data or company registration data that the supplier puts in, to check that before it comes back into our system, again, through the BTP portal that's being built. We are able to do things like allow the supplier to read our code of conduct and agree to the use of that code of conduct in the portal. So we're using this portal and I guess a step along the way of automation technology to do things we would never be able to do in standard SAP. And that's, I think, is going to help us an awful lot in just making that whole process a better, slicker process than it is today. Looking forwards, the portal itself, we could probably develop in a whole bunch of other ways we've not even imagined just yet, because it's a very flexible, open tool that Bluestonex can help us to build more with. So early days in our journey just yet. It's quite exciting. Step changes, certainly, I think, for us, and we're excited about what can happen.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting to hear about your automation journey. I would now be interested in your key value drivers. What did you notice change within your company, and what were the benefits that arrived from it?
I think what we perceive in terms of the benefits we believe we're going to get, because as I said, we've not yet implemented this solution, is having the supplier ownership of data, having those checks for the APIs that the portal can give us, should give us much better structured data. It should give us much better quality data than we currently have right now, and it should improve the time frame it takes for us to get a record ready and valid, so we can actually trade with a particular supplier. So I think there's that angle of benefit. The other thing I think as well is, if in this particular area, if we get better data like that, our payment processes should be better. So our follow-on processes that are used from this particular piece of data we're going to automate a bit more, they should be better. So we'll be paying more promptly, we'll have less exceptions, and therefore those processes should benefit as well as a result of us moving into this kind of automation area with the vendor data.
Thank you very much. We understood now more about the automation processes you have implemented in your company, but also about the value drivers that came with it. In the next question, I would like to ask you for any tips or tricks you would like to share with the audience.
Yeah, I think two things, and I think they're related to each other. The first is, if you're going to go into an automation journey, don't just think about kind of lifting and shifting what you have right now. Don't just copy necessarily what you got right now. Try and maybe think a bit further, think outside of the box. Are there things you could do more and better and bigger than you do today in the process you're looking to automate? And then allied to that, I think it is well worth partnering with a company who understands some of the technology that's out there that could help you achieve your aims. So we use Bluestonex as our partner in this particular instance. They led us down a path we didn't even know existed. So we wouldn't have got as far as we would have done without having a partner in place. So partnering, I think, is a really useful thing to consider.
Thank you very much for it, Paul. It was really insightful to hear about your story, and it's great to know how you've been able to do all this in the past. So thank you very much for sharing it.